As the time goes by, this hurricane season is progressing and progressing. Currently, my pen is not working, on-screen pen is not working, but here we have Tropical Depression 15 starting to move out, predicted to not become a Category 3, but at least a significant hurricane as time goes by. Lee now is starting to weaken significantly. It is now finally starting to retreat away from Maine and Nova Scotia. Maine, you still need to keep an eye. There's lots of power outages currently from that. With all this rain and wind, there's so much stuff going on. We have some convection over by Central America. We have tropical waves coming from Central America, not Central America, Central Africa. And we also have another tropical wave coming off of Africa. And we have some lower tropical waves towards the middle eastern Atlantic Ocean. So as this loads, I know what this is. So this is Hurricane Lee. You can see that post-tropical. You can see that it does still have that rotation right in between Nova Scotia and Maine, right through that bay. It's going to move straight forward. That rain is really starting to get down. It's starting to lose all that power, but it still has a lot of rain. Do not take on any unnecessary precautions. This is Tropical Depression 15, brewing to become a tropical storm. We have rotation going on, and we start to see a lot of organization with this storm. Before, you remember, tropical waves have a lot of spread out showers and thunderstorms. Now they're compacting with each other. Then they're going to start to make outer bands, which is already starting to happen. Small, but building outer bands. We have lots of convection with this storm that shows intensification. So a lot could happen here. It's a matter of time. So we have Lee that goes straight through in between Nova Scotia and Maine, bringing impacts from Boston all the way up to Nova Scotia, and then it continues that path. We have that high pressure starting to build back in, that retreats, and we have that little low pressure system that apparently makes landfall in Nova Scotia. Not very worrisome. Then we do have something trying to develop right next to the Bahamas. Doesn't seem that bad, but does show landfall at a pretty strong tropical storm here. Even hits like Jacksonville, like right there. We could have something right there. It's uncertain and it remains what will happen. So we're going to have to see what happens with that because it trails far. Then we do have a system that shows it hitting Florida. I mean, it's kind of hard to say. The GFS is a little janky right now with how this is going. Let's just zoom out there. So we have something that comes through right through the entrance of Central America, then goes into the Gulf, then it splits apart and goes straight up into the Panhandle, bringing heavy rain. Then that tries to form up. Then we do see something right in the Gulf here brewing. I'll put like a square, red square right there. Something could be developing there. Could be brewing. That could develop into something tropical. We gotta update this. Okay. So this is disturbance 1. 30% chance of cyclone formation over the next 7 days. That has gone up by 10%. We have post-tropical cyclone Lee. We have we have a pretty rapidly weakening tropical storm Margot. It's been out there for a long time, and so has Lee. We have tropical depression 15. 30 knots, sustained winds, 30 knots, 35 miles per hour. Minimum central pressure, 1,006 millibars. Movement northwest at 14 knots, 16 miles per hour. So here we have the satellite view. We can see that tomorrow or even tonight, we maybe even not even at 2 a.m. we could already have a tropical storm here, but we likely tomorrow 2 a.m. we're going to be seeing a tropical storm that will be Nigel. We have Margot on its path to weakening, shows some intensification. Isn't that crazy? Wait, no. So yeah, it's gonna go on a downfall of wind speed, and that's gonna be at 45 sustained for like 12 hours. That's gonna go and it's gonna stay for like 24 hours. Then apparently it goes back up, then goes back down, then finally post-tropical cyclone, maybe making some effects right around here with some post-tropical effects here with some gusty wind and some heavy rain, but not very concerning as it is weakening very fast. And it isn't like Lee where it was a 75-mile-per-hour storm. Nope. Winds are now actually starting to retreat though. We have gusts averaged maybe around 50 to 60, but if we actually go back, we can see that that big wind field was so much more strong before, but now it's finally moving out and it's moving away. New Brunswick, you're gonna start to see some conditions. Thankfully, you're kind of under this trough where it's a lot calmer in this area with maybe like 30-mile-per-hour gusts, which isn't bad. And it could blow down some unsecure objects depending on what they are and how weak they are. But by 10 p.m., we're going to have the center officially making landfall in New Brunswick, and the higher wind speeds over by Maine really starting to retreat, but Nova Scotia may be seeing one of the worst impacts they have. They have wind coming from all the way over here and all the way over here at maybe around 68-mile-per-hour gusts, pushing all of that water up. So Nova Scotia, probably later tonight is when you're going to see the impacts the most. I would take the precautions, do not go outside, stay inside, and do not take any bad ideas. Don't do anything bad, as something bad could happen, especially, which we do not want anything bad happening. So here we see that this was minus 72 hours ago. We see that front pushes Lee up, goes straight through. Then we have another one that kind of weakens off. Then we have one building, but weakens. And then we have this big high pressure system with a low with Bermuda. Let's see. Choose the icon model here. Okay, that's not. So yeah, GFS is indicating something. It's uncertain to really say what's gonna happen here though. We need to update this. Tropical Atlantic. Alright, so you can see that we do have Tropical Depression 15 soon going to be Nigel. As we continue through time, that becomes a decent, significant storm. Bermuda needs to keep an eye. You see that this high pressure system right there, I'll make that kind of box. That's supposed to be where Bermuda is, but it is not. And we do have those tropical waves coming into finally kind of starting to bring that rainfall, but then we do see something right there. that could actually be making a little bit of an impact to Bermuda if we go back time. Or very close to at least tropical storm conditions, kind of making that northwestern, but like just northern track. And we do have a tropical wave off of Africa, and we do have more rainfall activity going on in the border islands that could be a tropical wave. This is true color, so we can see what we really have here. We have a lot of disorganized showers and thunderstorms around Africa. Then we do have Depression 15, which is leaving a trail of clouds behind it. And then we do have a little bit of convection over by Central America and some showers and thunderstorms developing by Florida and Alabama, Georgia, and some weather around Texas, like some stuff over there. Don't need that. Do we need this? No, we do not. It's the same thing. Okay. So, as you can see, the power outages are widespread for the whole entire Maine. There's a lot of, and even maybe into a little bit of New Hampshire or just the borderline of Maine. So that just shows you the northern areas might be pretty weak for Florida or the more southern areas, but the northern areas they're not as prepared. They don't have as much structural protection. Like, imagine a Category 5 hitting them. Not really possible. Not possible. I mean, I guess it could happen, but basically, no. No. They'd be pretty doomed. I am not gonna lie. So, those rain bands are starting to retreat. They're starting to dissipate, but that's gonna keep bringing rain to Charlottetown, Cindy, all the way up there. So, even some of the islands around it. So now we're gonna go to 15L. Then we're not gonna actually do that. We're gonna go to GFS so you can see the whole basin here. So let's watch and let's see what's going on here. We're gonna let some things run as it loads. Bermuda needs to keep an eye. We have convection going on in the Caribbean by Central America. And it keeps flailing up, but then keeps flailing down. We do actually have something, and it does become something. Does kind of make that impact to Florida right there. Straight line of showers and thunderstorms. Tornado potential, maybe. It's unknown where it's gonna exactly affect. This could change drastically, but that area, there's this big area of rain that's not very organized, but could form up into something. Then we do have some tropical waves, and then some more showers and thunderstorms in Central Africa. As we continue through time here, we see that other rain band comes in a little bit more south and does make impacts to the areas that need it. I mean, we're getting, Florida's getting that rain, but, what's gonna happen is unknown. So we do have, these areas that keep fleeing up with this rain. What are we gonna see here? What is this going to do? What will we see next? The time matters, so it's really, we've seen the GFS model change so much, and it's just so hard to really say what's gonna happen here. But we can at least see that Florida might get some more heavy rain and maybe tornado impacts with more gusty winds that day. and it's just unknown. We might even have a tropical storm that doesn't even hit Florida and they don't even get rain, and it just goes to Central America or Texas or New Orleans or Alabama, kind of. Like, it's really hard to, like, don't take this to any consideration because we literally do not know what's going to happen. It's too hard because these are forecast models. I can tell you for a fact, sometimes when I look at the forecast model to see if it's going to rain, and that's only like 2 or 5 hours at most out, it doesn't rain a lot of the time. I mean, there are chances, yes, and there are higher chances of it actually raining. I mean, it's a pretty decent chance, but it didn't rain. Nope, didn't. 90% chance of rain whole day. Forecasted 3-5 hours, and we'd get some pretty heavy rain. Did not happen. Didn't even see a cloud. It shows you how forecast models change even by an hour. Like, I could look at it an hour later and I could see that, like, that storm might be a real thing, but it's going the complete opposite way, so then we don't get that rain. So it's kind of what we're seeing here, except 384 hours. Drastic changes are going to happen. I'm sure of it. It's going to change a lot. And, yeah. So this is going to be the update for the tropics. So we can see that we do have that big rain band bringing some light to heavy rain in areas going up to even New Brunswick now. Those winds are really starting to die down, but still. High surfs, rip currents, and still a little bit of storm surge. Alright, current wind speed, 65 miles per hour. Gusts, not known. Pressure, 979, a little low. Ground speed, 14, slowed down a lot. Course, north, 360 degrees. 40 miles east, 40 miles of Eastport, Maine. Now we're going to do Margot. Wind speed, 52. Gusts, 63. Pressure, 996. Ground speed, 8. Course, west, 270 degrees. Tropical depression, 15. Really starting to get those rain in. Alright, tropical depression, 15. Wind speed, 35. Gusts, 46. Pressure, 106 millibars. Ground speed, 16 miles per hour. Course, northwest, 330 degrees. And for the invest, 30% chance of cyclone tropical storm formation over the next 5 days. Eastern tropical Atlantic, a tropical wave is forecasted to move off the west coast of Africa midweek. Therefore, environment conditions are conducive, so gradual development of the system as it moves westward across is likely and could happen. Gradual development is possible as it moves through the main development region. We might not even see it go up north like all of these things. It might not even kick up north like what Depression 15 is doing. It might actually put the Caribbean on watch. From there forward, that's really all we can say. We're not sure at this point. We need to keep an eye, but we're not sure yet. So I'll keep you updated and make sure to stay weather ready, and I'll keep you updated.